Hello, I'm Shelley Sanders, and welcome to the Home Show. If you're looking to remodel your home or in need of new construction to build your dream home, you'll want to stick around for today's show. We're going to speak to the experts from CMK Construction for information on remodeling, and our friends from West Bay Homes will show you how to get the most for your money. That's all coming up next on today's episode of the Home Show.
The following segment is paid for by Homes by West Bay.
I'm here with Brenna June. She's a new home consultant for Homes by West Bay. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
It's so much fun talking about new home construction.
I know, I love it. Love it.
To build a new house.
I know, it's exciting. It really is.
All the creative aspects. I'm into the, I'm the typical woman who's like, I just want it to be pretty. I want to pick my colors, right?
Well, that's part of it, and then you've got the people who are like, what's behind the walls? And we got that too. So, I mean, for whatever buyer you are, West Bay's got the product.
I love it.
Thanks.
So let's talk about that. There's a lot of misconceptions about new home construction and resale. From your perspective, from a new home consultant with West Bay, tell me, why should I buy a West Bay home versus a resale?
Resale is, you kind of get what you get with the resale market. There's older homes out there and you kind of have to take sacrifices for one thing to maybe get something else. And a lot of buyers don't want to have to do that. The great thing about Homes by West Bay is once you find the neighborhood that speaks to you, we find the plan that speaks to you. And then we find the finishes that speak to you. This is your process and it's your home. And at the end of the day, it's got your stamp of approval on it. Unlike with the resale market where you just kind of have to take whatever is best for you at that given moment in the market at that time.
Sure. And even if you find what you think is the dream home in a resale, it doesn't mean that behind the walls or with other issues that can come awry, right?
It's true. It's true. Your resale market, that old home that you're buying is just going to continue to get older. And as things age, it needs more love and more TLC. So you need to be prepared to be kind of taking on that project. Where with new homes, you have a little bit more freedom after you close. Your weekends are yours. Your weekends are not chasing down plumbers. Your weekends are not fixing pipes. Your weekends are playing in the pool or going to the community park.
Oh, I love that. And I love the sort of customized view of things as well. So in addition to all of that, you get extended warranties. I know you guys are the champions at warranties, even offering way more than what the standard or the required amount of warranties, 2 years in most cases and 10 in one. Absolutely incredible. You also will have the most energy efficient home on the market.
Absolutely.
Newest, the latest and greatest. I love all that. But you mentioned something earlier. You actually get to choose the communities in addition to choosing your colors and the style, the floor plans. You mentioned the communities and the neighborhoods. Let's talk about that.
Okay. Well, everybody's a little different. What chapter, what season of your life are you in? Are you like me where you've got kids and everybody's busy and everybody just needs to burn off some crazy kid energy and you want to be in a neighborhood where you can go to the pool or go to the parks and that's important to you, that lively hubbub madness and crazy? Or do you want it to be like, we want quiet. We want to go into our gated neighborhood and we want to maybe have a park and go sit and listen to the birds, but we don't necessarily need to go play on the basketball courts. West Bay is all across Tampa Bay, from up in Odessa to down in Apollo Beach, and our communities run the gamut from hubbub, wild, lively, exciting to quiet and peaceful and, coming home and it's kind of restful.
Chill.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Where are some of the most exciting areas of town? And I say that meaning, where's the latest, oh gosh, this is the newest thing that's going on. I know Wesley Chapel for a little while was right there.
On fire.
Everybody wanted to move to Wesley Chapel. Where are those areas now?
Our big one in northern Tampa is Starkey. That's a big neighborhood. It's exploding. Everybody's really excited to be in Odessa. So Starkey Ranch, we've got a ton of plans. So whether you're looking for something super small or you want to go super big, we've got a ton of different floor plans in that neighborhood. But that neighborhood itself, in terms of amenities, it's second to none. I mean,
Talk about some of those amenities there.
it's beautiful. The trails are beautiful. Every time I go up into that neighborhood, I see some kind of wild animal. There's a turkey here, and then you've got a gator kind of swimming in the pond, far enough away that I feel okay. But it's beautiful. The trails and the courts, the basketball courts and the pool, it's awesome.
So it's a massive community that
Yeah.
hasn't lost touch with nature,
Right.
yet you still have that whole big community
Yep.
feel.
Yep, they very much incorporated nature into the homes that they're building there. I work in a community called Pristine Lake Preserve, which is in Land O'Lakes. It's very much the opposite of Starkey. It's very quiet, one way in, one way out, gated neighborhood with West Bay, and we're the only builder in there, which is kind of nice. So it's just a West Bay product. So it's a little different from Starkey, just as wonderful, but different.
It just has a different vibe. And that's the thing about communities, I think, that is so nice, is that every community has its own personality, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Which is nice to have a versatile builder when it comes to that. You have that opportunity with West Bay.
Right, exactly. I just, if you do one thing and you just do that one thing over and over again, you're not going to be able to attract as many buyers. So what West Bay has done is they've gone and they've sought out different neighborhoods for everyone. It's what speaks to you. I'm sure we've got a neighborhood that you'll fit right in.
Love it. So I'm sure our viewers right now are thinking, certainly those that are looking for new construction, maybe even those that are on the fence, like, I don't know, this sounds intriguing. You guys have something for everyone. How do they get in touch with you, and can they see examples of your homes online?
Oh, yeah, our website is amazing. So the website is homesbywestbay.com. Not only do we have our floor plans there, but we've got all of our community listings there. All of the community amenities are there as well, so it's a great resource.
The preceding segment was paid for by Homes by West Bay. With over 60 distinct floor plans in 13 new home communities across Tampa Bay, it's easy to see why Homes by West Bay is Tampa Bay's premier builder. Homes start from the mid-200s to the 600s, featuring distinctive designs, bright open floor plans, and breathtaking kitchens. Learn how you can enjoy up to $35,000 in design incentives on your West Bay home by visiting homesbywestbay.com. Homes by West Bay, created for you. The following segment is paid for by CMK Construction.
Hi, I'm here with Manny Kavouklis of CMK Construction. And Manny, if I can brag on you just a little bit, you guys know your stuff when it comes to renovations. You've been around since 2004. You've got over 3,000 clients. You can find many of them on your Facebook page with awesome photographs and testimonials. You really, you've got the city of Tampa as a client. That's pretty huge. Pat you on the back if I can. So let's talk about making a renovation less stressful. And I can't think of, the first question that comes off the top of my head is, oh my gosh, how do you even find a contractor? You're here, but for the average person that maybe they don't know you yet, how do you go about finding a quality contractor?
Well, making sure that they're licensed and insured is a big part of that, and then obviously the experience to complete the project that they're going to be taking on. So.
Well, it sounds like you check and check. You're licensed and insured, and certainly have plenty of testimonials and clients' pictures to prove it. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Not a whole lot of time here, and we could talk to you for hours. So that being said, let's talk about renovations in the kitchen. Holy smokes. I'm sure the jobs run the gamut from small, replace cabinets or something, to taking out walls and make a big open floor concept. Let's talk about it.
Sure. Yeah, one of the things that happen in the kitchen is, well, this is now where you're eating every day, and it's going to be gone for a little bit. So when you're in there and designing the kitchen out, you want to obviously think of key things that are going to be important.
So that can be extraordinary, and certainly lengthen the amount of time you guys are in there as well. So let's talk about that. Say it was a very big project where you're taking out a couple of walls, maybe even adding a kitchen island where there isn't one. So many things to consider that maybe you don't even realize. In my mind, I don't realize really what all that entails. Where do you go from there? Okay, I have a vision. Now what?
Well, what you do now is get an appointment with a project specialist. They'd come out to your home, and one of the really cool things that I like is, everyone loves the before and after, but even more than that is actually a 3D rendering of what you're going to be getting after, which is really something that you could look at and make changes. We've had countless customers look at the rendering and possibly want to change a few things based on the view. They even have a 3D viewer that you could use, so it's really cool.
Oh, wow, that's exciting, because then you get to see before it's actually done, and then you regret it, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's even better than what you thought, right? Now, this happens in the customer's home, or this happens in your office? How does this take place?
Well, actually, either one, but one of the great things that we'd like to pride ourselves at CMK is we'll come to you, or you could come to our office. It doesn't matter. We know people have busy schedules. Me and my wife have 2 kids, and we understand that sometimes you can't meet till after work hours. So we don't mind going out there and bringing samples and having the customer look at doors of cabinets and at their home, at their convenience.
Really sounds like you guys just are into comfort. Like, look, we want to make you happy. We've got this in mind. You've got this in mind. We want to make it happen for you. Being that you're a family business as well, you really take personal pride in your company. I commend you for that. Let's talk about the go-to person. I know my parents recently renovated their home, and it was like constantly in another state. Otherwise, they would have used you, Manny, in another state, I should say. However, one of the things that my father was so frustrated with is that when things either, circumstances happen, but when something did happen, he didn't know who to call. He'd call one guy who said, okay, you got to call this guy. Is that typical, or what do you do there? What are your recommendations for that?
Well, I mean, at CMK Construction, and it's a big deal, is that we have a project manager that'll get assigned to your project. So what'll happen is you'll have a day-to-day contact that you can use throughout your project.
Really? So I'm sure my father right now is like, so you are given a dedicated project manager. So if you do have a question or do have a concern, you have somebody that you can call, a regular person, so that you aren't given, have all these different people to talk to then, right?
Absolutely, yep. He will be on your project along with a couple others, but the big focus will be is any questions that you might have. Who's going to come to my house the next day? When is the plumber coming? Any questions that you might have throughout the project, he's there to answer that for you and make you feel comfortable, because we know it's a stressful time, specifically with the kitchen, and we want to make it as seamless as possible at CMK.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about those kitchen islands. What are some of the things that pop up as it relates to a kitchen island? Some people just can't have one, or what?
Well, it really depends. The kitchen island's a big deal, is that you have to run electric to the island. So everyone wants to put an island in, or a good portion do, but you got to be able to trench the concrete floor to put the plumbing and the water lines if you're going to put a sink in there. So anything's possible to an extent, of course. Condominiums complicate things, but we won't go there.
All right. So, but ultimately, you guys do what you can to make the vision possible for the client. Right?
Absolutely.
All right, so Manny, I know what our viewers are thinking right now. Some of them may become customers of you. They're thinking right now, Shelly, get down to it. Tell us how to get in touch with you, Manny. Tell our viewers.
Sure, they can go to cmkconstructioninc.com to our website, or check out the work on Facebook at CMK Construction Inc. also.
The preceding segment was paid for by CMK Construction.
Choosing a general contractor for your home renovation project is an important decision. You want someone you can trust to do quality work on time and on budget. CMK is a licensed, bonded, and insured general contractor, experienced in every aspect of residential renovation, and we've built some of the most beautiful kitchens and bathrooms in Tampa Bay. Call today for a free in-home estimate. CMK Construction, we're ready to build your dream.
With over 60 distinct floor plans in 13 new home communities across Tampa Bay, it's easy to see why Homes by West Bay is Tampa Bay's premier builder. Homes start from the mid-200s to the 600s, featuring distinctive designs, bright open floor plans, and breathtaking kitchens. Learn how you can enjoy up to $35,000 in design incentives on your West Bay home by visiting homesbywestbay.com. Homes by West Bay, created for you. The following segment is paid for by Homes by West Bay.
I'm talking with new home consultant Brenna June with Homes by West Bay. What an exciting thing to do, to talk to people about building a new home.
It is. It's awesome. I love it very much.
Oh my gosh, it's got to feel so rewarding to watch someone come in the doors and really not know for sure if they want to do this, and then when it comes into fruition and to see the end result.
I know, I've been doing this for many years, and it never gets old. It never gets old. And just watching a buyer go through that process, it's very exciting.
And from a standpoint of being an employee of a company like this, I get the sense that it's a wonderful company to work for.
It is.
That I feel your passion for what you do.
I've worked for a number of builders in the area, and West Bay is my first private builder I've worked for, and it makes a huge difference. I know everybody from the top to the bottom. You know, they care about what they do. They live in this area. You know, they eat, sleep, breathe this company, and you feel it. You feel it from the moment you sign on as an employee. Yeah.
And I got to say, I love the idea of a local builder, because so many of the builders, they build communities in multiple states, but pretty much offer the same floor plans. And with a local builder, to me, at least in my mind, I think you're going to have a grasp of what it's like for Florida living, the Florida lifestyle.
These plans that we get to sell sprung out of the ground from Florida. They were created here. They were created for our Florida buyers, and you really feel that with the West Bay product. Other products I've sold, while beautiful and functional, they felt just off. There was something different about them. They were maybe darker, or the walls were just in places that didn't make a lot of sense for light, bright, and open, and you don't get that with West Bay.
Love that, love it. So let's talk about new homes versus resale and how that relates to what you're getting. I mean, ultimately, so with a resale, you might find the perfect house. I've heard the term so many times, oh, this house has great bones, you know, meaning they're going to have to do something to get it perfect.
Right.
So that's the most obvious to me.
Well, there's a lot of homes out there with great bones, you know, but those bones might be older, you know, need a little bit of love, a little bit of TLC. You know, you're taking on this older home when you buy resale that you're not quite sure what that home has been through. You know, have the walls been properly maintained? Has the AC unit been properly maintained? You know, how does it fare in storms and whatnot? You know, how are the windows? So there's a lot that you really need to think about when you're buying something older, where when you buy something new, the builders kind of thought that through for you. You know, we want you to have the latest and greatest products. We want you to have the most energy efficiency house out there. That's important to us. It's important to you. And buying new really affords you all of those luxuries, which is great.
Yeah, and you know what? Brenna, you make a good point when you're talking about that. So the most obvious to me is like, wow, you get to customize or kind of personalize this new home and really know that you're the first person to live in this home.
Yeah.
That to me is always so exciting.
Yeah.
But it's more than just that. You touched upon it a minute ago when you said, oh, well, you're getting the latest and greatest in all things new construction, but also as it relates to codes. So let's talk about that. So I don't think there's anyone out there that's never heard, oh, there are certain building codes that must be met when you build a home.
Sure.
But what are they and what falls underneath that?
It's not something that we talk about often, but I feel like we probably should. You know, we live in a state where we've got some pretty fun storms that we have to ride out. And those fun storms can turn very scary in a moment's notice. And when you're in an older home, how confident are you riding out that storm in a home that was built in the 1980s and 1990s? Because what builders have done due to the Florida building codes over every edition that goes out, all the new building guidelines that they do, the hurricane strapping that they do, stuff that they weren't doing before that they're doing now, will give the buyer a much more like peace of mind knowing, all right, there's a storm coming.
Sure.
We're going to take precautions, but I know my home is new. I know my home has got this, and this done to it, that I feel like I'm safe and my family's safe.
Yeah, and you make a good point. I mean, a home built in the 80s, my goodness, the Hurricane Andrew, that comes to my mind. Everyone saw the devastating pictures from that,
I know.
that hurricane. So that's something to think about if you're in a home like myself.
Yeah.
That was built back then.
Call me.
You want to talk about,
Yeah.
I mean, that would be a major concern for me to make sure that that's up to code and that's taken care of for you. What else is underneath the umbrella of code, a builder's code? Because that to me is the most obvious, being hurricane safety.
Absolutely, and that's huge. You know,
Sure.
just having the right, paying for the right wood going in. Wood and your 2x4s make a difference. The hurricane strapping, we build on what's called a monolithic structure. So from the slab to the walls to the roof, everything is strapped together. So
Perfect.
the wind can't make your house a convertible, so to speak.
Oh gosh.
But so that's really important. And on the flip side is just keeping the house energy efficient. That's super important too.
So there's many elements that fall
Right.
up underneath that, and y'all take it to a whole new level. I
Yeah.
know, especially you're that confident with all of the warranties that you have.
Oh, yeah.
Multiple warranties, which is pretty much unheard of, and multiple years, one as long as 10 years. Look, there's so many things to talk about with you, Brenna. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you.
I know for those viewers that are sitting out there and they're really thinking of a new home, they're wondering right now, how do I get in touch with you? Why don't you tell them?
Come to our website, which is homesbywestbay.com. You can find all the information there.
The preceding segment was paid for by Homes by West Bay. With over 60 distinct floor plans in 13 new home communities across Tampa Bay, it's easy to see why Homes by West Bay is Tampa Bay's premier builder. Homes start from the mid-200s to the 600s, featuring distinctive designs, bright open floor plans, and breathtaking kitchens. Learn how you can enjoy up to $35,000 in design incentives on your West Bay home by visiting homesbywestbay.com. Homes by West Bay, created for you.
Choosing a general contractor for your home renovation project is an important decision. You want someone you can trust to do quality work on time and on budget. CMK is a licensed, bonded, and insured general contractor, experienced in every aspect of residential renovation, and we've built some of the most beautiful kitchens and bathrooms in Tampa Bay. Call today for a free in-home estimate. CMK Construction, we're ready to build your dream.
The following segment is paid for by CMK Construction.
I'm here with Manny Kavouklis of CMK Construction, and if I may, Manny, I'm going to brag on you just a little bit. You've been around since 2004. You've got over 3,000 clients, most of which you can even find on Facebook. You've got tons of photographs, nice work, by the way, and plenty of testimonials. You've had City of Tampa as a client as well. I mean, that takes a person that pretty much knows what he's doing, if I can say that. So I want to talk to you about renovations, and I can't think of a question that pops into my mind more than right out of the gate, no matter what the renovation is. How do you pick a contractor? Can you give us any tips on that?
Sure. I mean, the big key is obviously making sure that they're licensed and insured. So that's a big thing. And then on top of that, the experience to complete, your particular project.
Okay, well then check. You guys are licensed and insured for sure. And you have plenty of customers. Just go to your Facebook page and you can see that evidence of it right there. So check, you're hired. So now let's talk about renovations. One of the things that I hear all the time is converting, say, a kitchen maybe that's closed off, making that opened up, and the big grand space like an open concept kitchen, which involves removing walls and all kinds of things. So let's talk about that. What are some things to consider when you're wanting that?
Well, that's extremely popular now. Everyone wants to open up the kitchens, which the biggest part in doing so is obviously to make sure that there's not a load-bearing wall that you have to remove to do so.
Okay, so we've just hit a hot button. Here's if you want a definition moment. Load-bearing wall. Yes, we've all heard it and kind of understand, I think, some of it, but still, if it's me, I don't care, just get rid of it. I want the open concept. So what do you do there when it's a load-bearing wall? What does it mean?
Well, what it means is it's holding the load either of a second floor of the house or the trusses. So that's something you can't just remove unless you want the house to collapse, and that's not a good thing to do. So, so that's an extremely difficult stopping point in terms of any project.
Sure, I can imagine. So what do you do when you have someone like me who says, do it anyway, Manny? What does CMK do to make the vision happen? I know you've got guys that come out, you see the 3D vision, and it's beautiful, and now you've discovered one of the walls you want to remove is a load-bearing wall. What happens next? Walk me through that process.
Well, yeah. So if you see a load-bearing wall, it's not the end of the world. We could come in and use a lot of our partners that we have structural engineer partners that'll work with us to design a concept that'll work for that load-bearing wall, which will stretch a beam with some posts that we can decorate. There's a lot of options at that point. So, but CMK does this all the time, so you're with a company that knows how to act when something like this pops up, and when we call our engineers, they're going to pick up the phone and come out there and take care of it.
Oh yeah, because why? Because you guys work with them a lot, or what?
Absolutely, yeah. We work with them several times a month, or if not more, depending on how many load-bearing walls we will run into.
Right. Now, what does that mean to your customers? I mean, because I would imagine if to get them scheduled to come out, it could back up the process. Is that something that could happen, or no?
Yes, you know, when we call our structural engineers, they answer the phone and they give us good response time, because obviously when you're looking at that wall, the project is going on at that time, or it could be caught in an earlier part too. Sometimes for the majority of the time it would be. So yeah, getting on point and jumping on that quickly to keep the project going along.
Sure. So that's one thing. CMK, you guys call, they answer, and it doesn't back your project up.
Absolutely.
So that's nice. Because that's a lot of times what happens is things get behind, but you try to take pride in knowing that that doesn't happen with you guys, or you do your best not to have that happen, right?
Sure. I mean, we pride ourselves on getting the job done and doing it in a high quality fashion, and using our partners that way helps us a lot to accomplish that.
Sure. Okay, so we've gotten clarification on the load-bearing wall. Now we've got that problem fixed. Talk to me about soffits. Exactly what are they, and what are the considerations when having to remove soffits?
Sure. Soffits were very popular back in the 70s, 80s, 90s. A lot of them, they were basically framed in boxes, and people use them for plant shelves, or others use them to collect dust. And so that's kind of a phase that we're seeing now, where a lot of people want the soffits removed and removed from their house. So.
Sure. So it was more of a decorative thing, right?
Yes and no. Sometimes they'll be decorative. Sometimes they ended up running electrical and plumbing through the soffits. Okay. So when we open up the soffits and we see something like that where we have to move electrical or plumbing, at that point we would have to act on that.
So what are some of the considerations that CMK takes for the homeowner? Say there weren't any real issues per se, but they want these soffits gone, but they have these really cool textured designs on the wall, and how do you match that, Manny?
Well, that's where our technicians come in, and they use their skill. Obviously, doing a lot of what we're doing in day out, matching textures that sometimes are 60 and 70 years old are very difficult to match. But our guys do a very good job at doing that.
All right, so it's not a matter of having to give that up. I know what our viewers are thinking right now, Manny. They're wanting to know, man, tell me, how do we get in touch with CMK Construction? So why don't you do that for us?
Sure. They can go to cmkconstructioninc.com. Or go to our Facebook page at CMK Construction Inc. also, and look at the past projects that we've done, and go from there.
The preceding segment was paid for by CMK Construction.
Choosing a general contractor for your home renovation project is an important decision. You want someone you can trust to do quality work on time and on budget. CMK is a licensed, bonded, and insured general contractor, experienced in every aspect of residential renovation, and we've built some of the most beautiful kitchens and bathrooms in Tampa Bay. Call today for a free in-home estimate. CMK Construction, we're ready to build your dream.
Well, that's it for today's show. Thank you for watching. Join us again next Sunday as we take a look at today's latest innovations in building and remodeling for your home. We'll see you again next week at 10:30 for The Home Show.